starting to get in my mind. Why don't I just stop now? Get some cold water. No, that's not what we do. We don't give up. We start something, we see it through. Even if it takes 7, 8, 10 hours or whatever, even if the hamstrings are burning, we finish what we start. Welcome to Summer Sasquatch 2024. This is my third time racing this. This year I'm gonna go for under 6 hours. Going over nutrition, I got a bunch of Go Gels, I got Stinger waffles, I have bananas, Switchback electrolytes, and G1M Sport. I have 3 scoops of G1M Sport in each of my shaker bottles. Got headphones for music, nut butter for if I need that for places, and then I have my phone to listen to music. Race is gonna start in like 5 minutes, so this year I'm gonna start on time instead of a few minutes late like I did last year because I was focused on video, but let's have a good one. Ready? It's on video.
All right, Summer Sasquatch participants, on your mark, get set, go!
Here we go. Double bottling it today. We are starting out fast because there's always a huge bottleneck. So we're not fast today. Once we get into the woods, we'll go a little bit slower. There's a huge bottleneck if you're not fast. So the plan was to just go out as fast as I could. And I was running with Heath that first like quarter mile, and I think we went out at like a 6:45, but that was the plan so that I could get into the woods and not have to survive that bottleneck. That first like 3/4 of a mile, you're going down this rocky, like, I don't think it's a bridle trail, but it's like an entrance trail into the trail system. And it's kind of tough to run because there's just a ton of rocks and you're kind of just jostling, trying to like run and trying to not slip and fall and hurt yourself. So after that first 1.5 miles or so, there's a split where people would be coming back around mile 9-ish, and then you go right to go out into the trails. And so right at that section, it starts the section of pines where you're running beside the lake, and there's a bunch of pine needles everywhere. It's beautiful. Around mile 2 though is where that first climb is. It's not very long, but you have to go almost straight up, and there's a ton of roots and stuff. This course isn't super technical. It's just, there's a ton of elevation. This track has a lot of runnable sections, so that's where I really wanted to make sure I just absolutely pounded. I didn't want to do what I did the second year and absolutely just smash the first lap, and then lap 2 and 3 just have nothing left. So I made sure to hold back. I was running at what I felt was a good pace. I was trying to stick between 11:30 and 12 minutes per mile, because under 12 minutes a mile was going to secure a sub 6 hour 50K, which is what I was going for. Everything was going pretty well. Nutrition was going well. I was feeling good. Took that first like 3 miles to get my heart rate down and settled, and to just get in the zone. And then around mile 4.5, you come around the corner and you cross a mud pit, which there are a lot of deep mud pits on this course, which is why it kind of makes it tough. And I'll talk about that later in lap 3. But you cross a mud pit and then you basically just go straight up. You're hunched over the whole time, maybe 0.2 to 1/4 mile, and then you come out of it and you're on the road section. So just made it to the road section, just around mile 5, and the big steep climb, which I remember took forever. Literally took like 2 minutes. I don't know what's going on. So, just gotta stay at it. It's gonna be a long day. And I know it's gonna hurt, but we gotta keep going. Feeling pretty good right now. Got a road section here for about 3/4 of a mile, and then back into the woods. All right, see you probably somewhere around mile 8.
So once you're on the road section, you're on there for about 1.4 miles. There's an aid station about, I'd say, a half a mile after you get onto the road, and the plan was to just absolutely pound the road section as fast as I could and not really stop at the aid station for too long. If I needed to, just fill up my bottle. Because I had all the nutrition that I needed, I just knew that fluid was going to be like utmost important because it's the summertime and you're running 30 miles in the woods. There is a section that you have to go up into grass for a little bit and then come back down onto the road. And then from there, it's just the road until you go back into the trails.
Coming off the road section, that was about 1.25 to 1.4 miles. Coming back to the trails, got about 6.4, 6.5 miles. This is one of my favorite sections. Really runnable, and it's got enough shade, but it's not super dark. Feeling pretty good. I'll give you an update here soon.
So this section was another one of those just go at a steady pace and just keep running until you hit another big climb. So there's a section about 7.5 miles in, and it's rolling grass hills. But that section, it seems like every lap there's more and more hills. Running through grass is almost like running through water. There's nothing more annoying than being an hour and a half into running and all you hear is going through the grass and knowing you can't get a good stride because you're running through grass, and that's stopping you from getting good speed.
Just saw Heath. I'm at about mile 9. So him and number 2 are running together. I got about a mile left till I start lap 2. So feeling pretty good. I think lap 2, oh, there's a deer over there. Lap 2, I'm gonna go a little bit more of a moderate pace. Still gonna slam the road section and run nice and quick on any spot that I can run. So here we go, another runnable spot. So let's go.
Didn't think I was gonna see him, but I ended up running that first lap a lot faster than I probably should have.
Making our way back to the finish line. 2 more loops. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I saw you guys earlier. All right, there's one. Not sure what time that was in. I don't think any of that recorded, but just refilled my bottles and took down a waffle. I didn't grab any gels because I only took 1 gel at last loop. So definitely got taken more nutrition this lap. But here we go. I think that'll probably be like a total of a 13-minute lap. 14 maybe. Not too bad, but gotta stay away from those. Here we go, lap 2.
So after that first loop, it gets hard because you're 10 miles in and you already know what's coming up. And so mentally it's tough. You got to stay in it. And that first 5 miles has the hardest climbs. So coming back down into the woods and doing that first 1.5 miles or 2 miles in the woods, I wasn't feeling so hot.
All right, just about mile 13 and a half. And man, the second loop has hit me like a freaking train, dude. I forgot. I'm doing fine. Just documenting. Thanks for being out here, though. Man, that first loop didn't seem like there was too many feet of vert, too many climbs, but my gosh, they're all in like the first 5 miles, though. That's the hardest part of the course.
The recurring theme of this was the first 5 miles of each lap. I swear, they got longer every single lap. Physically, they didn't, but mentally, man, it seemed like I was running 10 miles that second lap before I even got to the halfway point. And that climb that was a lot smaller than I remember it being in the first lap, it was as big as I remember it being in the second lap from the years previous.
Just got done with the road section and quickly passed through halfway. It's getting tough. We were 16 and a half miles in. Got about 14 and a half left to go. So, whew. If you've ever run a 50K, it's like you're high for like the first 10 miles. And then the second 10 miles, it's like, wow, it's getting tough. And then like the last 8 miles before the last 2 miles, it's like, wow, this sucks. I just want to be done. But holding pretty good pace here. I think way faster than I thought I was going to. But just playing it by ear. Not trying to go too hard. Walking when I need to, but not when I don't need to. So, all right. See you on the next update, I guess.
So about halfway through, I started to slow down, and I knew that it was going to be a long day. And that's really what you have to think when you go into something like this. You're not just going to be out running a marathon for 3 hours, 3.5 hours. You're going to be out there for 5, 6, 7, even some people 8 hours on the trail. That's a long time to be moving. It's so much different than running a road marathon. I mean, you could have 1 mile where you run really fast and then 1 mile where you run really slow because there's 3 huge climbs. You could run out of fluids before the aid station and have to run a mile in the heat without any fluids, and that can mess up your race because it could happen at a critical point in the race. You could trip on a route and fall halfway through, or even a mile out from the finish and have to DNF.
I'm emerging out of the woods from lap 2. I'm feeling it, buddy. This last one's gonna be tough. Starting to get in my mind. How do I just stop now? I can just drop out. He's probably almost done. Wait for him. Get some cold water. No, that's not what we do. See what this hat says? We don't give up. We start something, we see it through. Even if it takes 7, 8, 10 hours or whatever. Even if the hamstrings are burning, finish what we started.
So that last, like, 3/4 of a mile coming out of the woods is just straight up because it was straight down going into the woods. And that is kind of a soul crusher because you can't just run out, especially at the end of the race. You can't just run that last mile. You have to pretty much hike it. So that's what makes the end of the lap pretty tough. You come out and you go through the grass and then you hit the parking lot and then you can run again.
All right, going up the cross for lap 2. Hopefully I'll catch me doing my water bottles this time because I think I didn't last time. Thank you. All right, lap 2. There's no timer. Whew. Bottle refill time.
So that second lap, I came in bang on 2 hours, which was 15-ish minutes slower than my first lap. So I knew that lap 3 was going to be even slower, and I knew that I needed to probably run somewhere around a 2:10 for that next lap, which was going to be really tough to be able to break that 6-hour mark.
Wait, did I have another one mixed up? I didn't. Wait, did I? I do, kind of. This last lap's gonna hurt.
Keith's girlfriend Olivia told me before the race, I don't think I'll break 6 hours. You can see her pass the finish line and going out for lap 3. But afterwards, she was like, I saw you like filling up your bottles or whatever and like messing with your phone or whatever. She ended up passing me. I just couldn't catch back up to her. And she ended up running a like 5:45 or something, which is just fast, but she also runs a bunch on trails. I'm not in training for that. My focus is now solely on training for Chicago and road racing.
Dang it. Too much. All right. We got an ascent here. Not too bad, but 22 and a half miles in and probably 200 feet of elevation so far. So my hamstrings are really feeling it, man. All right, I got a runnable section coming up here. Sweet.
It felt like those miles got longer in each first half of each lap. And just doing all of those climbs just absolutely took it out of me. I mean, like I just said, 22 and a half miles in, 3,200 feet of elevation gained already. That's so much more than what I'm used to. So I knew that lap 3 was going to be really tough. And just already having the mindset of wanting to quit, it was just a mental battle, man. And at this point, my hamstrings were just, they were super tired and they were starting to become tight.
I got an update for you. Just went through a mud puddle back there and I wasn't paying attention. My brain just fell out of it. To be honest, I want to be done, but shoes are all screwed. I lost this one in the mud and had to figure out how to get it back on. This bottle, completely trashed. Still has stuff in it, so I gotta wait until I get to the top of this hill or to the road section so I can get water. Good job, man. So, all right, that's how it's going. I think I got stung too, but we're just gonna keep moving, finish this thing out.
About 27-ish miles in, there is a little cutaway off the trail right off the road where you can go down to a little beach, and if you want to, you can just get in the water. And so every single year I've done this on the third lap, I've gone down to this section and just put my feet in the water.
All right, we made it to the beach area just before the mile 5 climb, I believe. Just gonna dip my feet in, clean the shoes off. Some people might say, oh, you're getting your shoes wet on purpose. It's gonna blister your feet, blah, blah, blah. I'm like 5-6 miles from the finish.
I don't care at this point. I think I have a couple blisters on my feet anyway. And I'd rather not be running around with big, freaking chunky, muddy boots. I'd rather be running around with some soppy wet shoes for a few miles as they dry out. So, onward and unfortunately more upward. I don't know if you can see the grade of this, but it is straight up, dude. It's like at least 75 to 100 feet of elevation and like a quarter of a mile. This is one of the last big climbs though. There's a lot of smaller climbs, which suck because they're repetitive, but this is the last like huge one. And then we're like getting into the grass zone after the road section. Oh my God, this is so hard. It never gets easier. I mean, I just get faster. It's still hard. So after climbing out of the woods and getting onto the road section, I did a lot of walking on the road section because the sun's just blasting you. You're like 25, 26 miles into a 31-mile race, and at that point, if your mind's not in it, if you're not in a good place, it's just rough. Look at that butterfly. All right, officially reached a marathon. We got like 37.2, 28.2, and 30. Got like 3.6 to go. If I remember, it's like 30.9 miles. So, might check in with you one or two more times before the end, but I'll put this phone away. So there's 2 shower houses along the road section because there's a bunch of campsites. And that first shower house is where they have the aid station. Well, I got stuff there, filled up my water bottle, put some ice in my hat and squirted water all over me. And then I hit the second shower house and I said, you know what? I really got to go to the bathroom. So I went in there and oh buddy, yep, okay. So from there, we did the grass section again and there was a lot of walking and then running again. And about mile 29-ish, there's a spot where you come to this like switchback. And it's really technical and it's downhill. And I just remember saying to myself, man, I really just don't want to do this right now. I don't want to do all this technical stuff anymore. I'm done. And right as I was saying that, I remember there were some of the people on the horses, I think with the park system, there were some people on horses that heard me and I'm like, oh man, I sound like a wuss right now. Walked a lot less than I thought I would and just kept telling myself, just if you walk, don't walk for very long. Like walk for a second to get a little bit of relief and then just keep running as much as you can. Then I came to that last section where you merge back to where you would have split off. And that last like mile and a half is just straight uphill. I just remember my heart rate being skyrocketed through the roof. I just had my first major trip. It was as I was walking, I just hit a tree root. About to come out of the grass or out of the woods into the grass. We have one final push. And then Heath and Olivia are gonna be at the finish line both filming, so let's get it. This was hard. It always is. All right, let's finish.
I'm so glad that's done.
Go one more, Ben. Go one more.
Thank you.
One more.
Legally, your hat says go one more. You have to.
Yeah, exactly.
You suck for saying you weren't gonna go sub 6.
I didn't think I was going to.
You should just ran past her and you could have beat her.
I like saw you in the aid station and I was like, do I like yell? Hey, Ben?
Well, that was hard. I didn't fall at all. Stepped into a big mud puddle with both feet, and it sucked off one of my shoes. Then I went into the water about a mile up the trail. That felt good. Oh, got a 20-minute PR too.
So that's the Summer Sasquatch 50K, third year running it. Best time so far, 6 hours, 18 minutes. I didn't break the 6 hour mark, but overall I felt pretty good about it. And to be able to come off of not too much training after the Cleveland Marathon to running more than 4 times the amount of elevation I did at the Cleveland Marathon for a race that's 5 to 6 miles longer and through trails and technical and routes and all that stuff, I was pretty happy with a 6 hour, 18 minute finish. So that's going to be the video. Stay tuned for the next video, which is another 50K. If you like this video, hit the like button if you want to keep on following along in this journey to sub 3 and just general running journey overall. Hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, all that stuff. You know what to do. And I'll see you in the next one.